Good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturn day. So this popped up in my memories in Facebook. I believe in polyamory. I believe in monogamy. We can conform to whatever fulfills us, but I don't believe in living a lie to make others happy. And I don't believe in building relationships based on false expectations of ourselves and others. I like that. I'm going to share it again to my page if I can, if Facebook will let me. And I mean, I guess that can be the great topic for this morning. Um, I find myself talking about wealth a lot, which is interesting because I never would have assumed that I would speak a lot about wealth, considering how the relationship that money and I have had. Um, but yet here I am. Oh, good morning. I'm just now looking at my Facebook feed. Oh, there are people here. Good morning. I would have never found myself speaking about wealth. I wouldn't think that I'm like qualified enough to talk about it, but I talk about it a lot. So today, seeing as that meme came up, let's talk about relationships. I tell you, it always gives you what you want. I was sitting here like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. It's just going to be off the cuff. But that meme was correct. And I might have to get it. Well, no, let me not say that. But let's talk about polyamory and monogamy. I get a lot of questions about polyamory. I get a lot of questions from people who are like, what is it? Which is always interesting to me because I have to remember that everybody doesn't know what polyamory is. um, how do you do that? And I can see in their minds, they're like, people are trying to work out the mechanics of it. Like, so especially for women, right? For men, the assumption is if you say you're polyamorous, then you've got like two women and one of them is doing it under duress. Like basically you wanted to have another girlfriend. And so your girlfriend or your wife agreed to it because she didn't want to lose you. So that's opinion number one. I can tell you all that's not true. Yes, it may be true for some people, but people who are truly polyamorous, that's not what's going on. When it comes to women being polyamorous, I can tell people are like, so does that mean she has sex with a lot of people? I don't understand. I don't get it. And it's just like, no, that's not what it means. That's not what it means. So I can tell you what it is for me. I can tell you that you may get different opinions from different people, but I can tell you that the general consensus, and the reason why I'm not going to speak a lot about monogamy is because y'all should all know what the hell that is, right? The general consensus when it comes to polyamory is it means that it's like monogamy, and you love more than one person. And so you're in deep, intimate relationships with more than one person. All of those relationships are not sexual. And the interesting thing in our society is that we've equated sex with relationships, which in my opinion is what has gotten so many women in trouble and has caused heartbreak and misunderstanding and communication between men and women, because the assumption is that if I have sex with you, then I must mean something to you, and then we must be in a relationship, and those discussions are never actually had. It's just assumptions that are made. Don't make those assumptions, please. So sex does not equal an intimate relationship. If it did, people wouldn't fly off the handle when they're in a monogamous relationship, when their spouse or partner, whatever, has an emotional affair. For some reason, that's even worse than the sex, right? So we know that intimate relationships do not require sex. So being polyamorous, no, it does not mean that you are having sex with everybody. That's generally swinging. Well, not all of it is swinging, but if you're a swinger, then you go to events, you know, you have sex with people. Some you know, some you don't know. Doesn't matter whether you find out their name or not, you know, and it's all good and all cool. I know some great swingers. I'm kind of on like the outskirts of the swing world. I like to support the events, go to the events. Um, but that's swinging. Polyamory is not, I just want to find somebody else to have sex with. That's not polyamory. Polyamory is formulating deep friendships and intimate relationships with others. And some of those people you may have a wonderful sexual relationship with, and some of them you may not, but it is just as intimate and just as close. And if there's a difficulty with the idea of being in a relationship with someone where you're not having sex, I would ask you to really take a deeper look at what you think the purpose of relationships is, and how monogamy and the idea of monogamy has so fucked up people's brains that the only way you can be close to another person is by having sex with them. In many ways, diminishing our capacity to be intimate with others, because we can only do so with one person and only the person that we're having sex with, which means all of our other friendships and relationships have to be at a distance, which puts an enormous amount of pressure on the two people in that monogamous relationship. And we can see by the divorce rate that that doesn't work. Now, I'm not suggesting that everyone go be polyamorous. What I'm saying is that within a monogamous relationship, you create a pressure cooker of stress and tension if you're saying that you are the only two people who can be everything to each other, which is impossible. Without intimacy from other outside people, I'm not speaking of sex, I'm speaking of intimacy. That there's no way for one person to be everything to and who told people that? Rom-coms and Harlequin novels. By the way, with the Harlequin novels, I discovered them at 15. I used to skip, like when I remember standing in a bookstore, not a bookstore, like a Hallmark store or something. I was working, it was over the summer, and I was working down in Wall Street area somewhere. And I remember going into the store. This is when I used to sell books like this in the store. And I was not interested in these cheesy stories. But I picked up this book and I was like, boring, boring. Somewhere in the middle was this description of this physical activity. And I was like, oh, so I was hooked. Like I was hooked. I would skip to the middle of the book. I eventually found my way to reading some of them, but really I would just go into the store at lunchtime, so just go skip right to the and just scan the book for the action. Okay, scene one, scan for the next action. But anyway, I don't know why I'm telling y'all that. Okay, back to monogamous people. So those types of things have told society that that's what it's supposed to be. I reposted that meme thing that I read in the beginning, because here's the truth. Your relationship can be whatever the fuck you want it to be. You and your partner or partners set the rules, guidelines, and boundaries. And everybody doesn't have to know about it. I have come across so many couples in BDSM, kink, swing lifestyle who, if you saw them in the vanilla world, which is what we call it when there's none of that going on, if you saw them in the vanilla world, you wouldn't know shit. You wouldn't know that he likes to watch her get it in with some other dude, and that's what makes their marriage work. You wouldn't know that she likes to watch him do whatever it is he's doing, whatever it is he's doing it with, or that they're doing it all together, or that you wouldn't know. But what you would see is a very happy, loving, connected union. They set the parameters for their relationship and what works for them. And like the meme said, a lot of people are not being honest about who they are and what they want. One of the things that I love about the polyamory world, and one of the things that I love about polyamory, is that when I deal with the men who are polyamorous, I don't come across a lot of fuck shit. Now, please, yes, there are men and women out, right? There's idiots in everything. So I'm not trying to make it sound like one is better than the other, but I don't come across a lot of the nuanced lying that has to take place when seeing a man who's claiming or trying to be monogamous versus a man who outwardly is like, yes, this is my partner here, my partner there. So I have a partner now who has partners. And it was really exciting to me when he was like, yeah, his partners asked him how things were going with us. Like, so how are things going, with Maisha? And he talks to them about it. I love that. That's not for everybody. I love that. Versus somehow in a monogamous world, at least in my experience and the experience of so many people that I've spoken to, there are games to be played. Don't text back immediately. Don't let them know you like them too much. Don't talk about sex on the first date, because then they'll think that that's all you want. Don't discuss marriage on the first date, because then you might scare them off. There are all these don'ts to do out of the fear that somehow the person you're trying to get won't want to be with you. But my thing is if I have to hide who I am on the upfront to try to get this person to like me on the back end, aren't they going to figure out who I am anyway 5 years into the relationship, and then the shit still won't work? Isn't it better to just know up front what it is so that we can decide that we're not compatible? Those are the things that confused me when I would hear people who would say they're monogamous, like these rules for things. People have, discussions about who pays for what and all that. It just, I don't get it. I don't get it. I personally don't get it, right? So my thing is, I don't care what kind of relationship you're choosing personally. I mean, obviously, I don't. The thing I always want people to understand, and the things that I teach on, or when I speak to my clients, is be you. And I think there's such this fear of being alone that people just don't want to be who they are. Just be you. So it's slightly easier to me. Well, first of all, I am polyamorous, right? It's not a thing that I've tried or whatever. When I look back over my relationships, and I look back over the people I've liked, and I look back over circumstances and situations, it's very clear to me that I'm polyamorous. When I look at how I am, and when I've tried to be in monogamous relationships, and even in my marriage, I have these very codependent tendencies that pop out, based upon, I don't know, it just, the choices become different, and I'm not sure, honestly, it's interesting how that happens. But when I seek out polyamorous relationships, these men are giving and just open, and the conversation and communication just flows, and there's not this tension or the knots in stomach of, did he call, did he not call, what's he doing? And I guess it's because I know what he's doing. Maybe that's what it is. Like, I know what he's doing, right? So there's no wonderment, there's no mystery to it. It's out in the open. And I think for people who are looking for monogamy, there's a fear sometimes of what the other person is doing. And here's my thing. If you're really afraid that the guy you're seeing or the woman that you're seeing, or whatever they're calling themselves, are seeing, are doing things with other people. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how to, because I don't worry about that, right? It's not a worry because they just come and tell me. And so I think we need to create space in monogamy for those conversations so that people can really get with people who are actually monogamous. Because a lot of y'all are saying you're monogamous. You're not monogamous. You're monogamous because that's what society expects of you. You're monogamous because your mother or your father and your auntie and them or your cousins would look at you crazy if you brought more than one partner. You're monogamous because you think you're too jealous to be polyamorous. And let me tell you something. And I don't think one is better than the other. I really, really don't. Let me tell you something. Jealousy exists in polyamory. Polyamorous people aren't these enlightened beings who somehow, don't have jealous tendencies. We do. We talk about them. We talk about them. I think the difference is that in polyamory, there's a lot more communication and a lot more conversation. And I think if monogamous people had a lot more communication and a lot more conversation, their relationships would probably be better as well, right? So there's a lot of talk about likes, dislikes, sexual preferences, positions. What's your view on polyamory? How do you like to be polyamorous? Are you, and I'm not going to go into what all these terms mean right now if you don't know, are you kitchen table poly? You don't ask, don't tell. Like, we have all of these conversations and negotiations and figuring things out and what works and what doesn't, because being in any relationship is work. It takes a lot of this. And I think so many of us have grown up with this idea of monogamy, in that you meet, there's butterflies, y'all think each other cute, you have some things in common, you're compatible, there's nice gift exchange happening, your families like each other, hopefully, y'all are cute together, people are like, oh, so cute together. But my question is, are y'all holding each other at 10:32 p.m. talking about your deepest fears? Are you talking about that time when you were bullied and that's why, you have difficulty making friends? Are you talking about that sexual abuse that you experienced and there was no one that you could tell? Are you talking about how you felt abandoned by your father and neglected by your mother? Are you talking about how you didn't really learn great communication skills and there were these books that you picked up and they taught you something? Are you talking about the things that make you truly happy? Are you talking about the fact that you wish you could give up your job as doing X, Y, and Z because you really want to do this? Are you talking about the fact that maybe you want to travel to one state a year or visit every continent before you die? Like, are you talking about the things that make you you? Because what it seems like is that a lot of monogamous people are in very codependent relationships. I love you, be my all, be my everything. And the movies perpetuate this shit. So I love watching these corny ass rom-coms on Netflix, and I'm so unaffected by them. And they are corny as fuck. But I'm listening to the language that they're using, and it's, one of them the other day, Holiday, it was really cool. But at the end scene, this one guy says to this woman, he takes her face in his hands, he's like, I can't imagine being happy without you. I was like, no. I can't, I can't be happy. My happiness depends on you. So if I think that, and this is, I don't care what your relationship structure is, polyamorous, monogamous, whatever, it's for everybody. If I think that my happiness rests in your hands, can you imagine the stress I've just put on you to make me happy every day? And if I'm not happy, you must have done something. Your partner is not responsible for your happiness at all, y'all, at all. Please, if there's nothing else you get out of this, your partner is not responsible for your happiness or your orgasms. They are not. I need y'all to sink that in, because a lot of people think that you get into a relationship for someone to make you happy. No one else can make you happy. They're a human being. They're gonna fuck up. There's no way possible. So while I found some differences in polyamory and monogamy, the biggest difference that I have found is communication. The communication skills. Most people do not know how to communicate. Men and women do not actually know how to communicate with someone else and tell them things. You know, again, with this movie Holiday. God. And I like the movie. I thought it was cute, you know, but I've seen this stuff in real life too. So she likes the guy. The guy likes her, you know, they finally get around to having sex. And, you know, he's vulnerable, you know, and he's feeling her. And she's like, no, it was just sex. I'll see you at the next holiday. And he's confused. He doesn't understand. He's like, clearly they have a connection, you know, and so they have this big fight in a supermarket. Now, neither one of them have actually said how they feel, right? But he's just like, you know what, I can't believe you, you know the connection that we've had, and you're too scared of things, because so it's her fault, right? Because you're too scared, and she's like, I'm not scared of anything, you know, like he's just blowing things out of proportion, so it's his fault. And I'm watching it like, huh? Because in real life, I would think, so the sex was amazing, and I've noticed that my feelings for you have changed over time, and I know this couldn't make a good movie, and that's why, but so we're just putting this in real life perspective, and so that y'all cannot do that, right? I've noticed my feelings have changed for you, and you know, I thought we could just do this friend thing, but I'm actually really liking you. Is there a possibility that we can do something else with this? Now, most people are not doing that in real life. He's not doing that, and I'm confused why, and I would love to know why. Yes, I get that there's fear, but how is it easier to not say anything, hope that it somehow work in a way, but then be devastated when you find out, for instance, that the other person is seeing like two other people, and you're like, I thought we were, and they're like, we never said anything. You're like, yeah, but you did X, Y, and Z. And they're like, yeah, but that's just because that's what I do. Right. And that has happened too, but there was no conversation. This is what I'm talking about with communication. Communication. I don't care what relationship structure you use. Like I said, I am polyamorous. It's not a thing I can take off. It's not a thing I can stop doing. It's not someone I can stop being. I cannot. Even if I had a home base, as I call it, like the partner that I would, I guess, take to like holidays and all that type of stuff. Even if I had that, I would still have close, loving, intimate relationships with other people, some sexual, some non-sexual. I know some people who are monogamous. They are monogamous. not even a thought of being with anyone else, you know, and they're very clear on that, which is beautiful. I feel like a lot of people fall somewhere in between. And because of a lack of communication and societal expectations and fear, people try really, really hard to be in a box that is too small for them. I have had a lot of conversations, not just with men, but with women as well, who would love to have other partners or other intimate relationships, but were too afraid to have that conversation because they did not want to lose the person they were with, and understandably so. This is why it's important to know you, not what everyone thinks you're supposed to be. And this is why I'm always this, have become so big on like this soul excavation and really understanding yourself, because we think who we think we are is the culmination of everything that someone else gave us. And a lot of times we don't really find out who we are until we have this courage to kind of be it, which is kind of what all that midlife crisis business is about, right? But if you're clear on who you are, you can avoid so much heartache and pain. So apparently my mother and my sister didn't know that I was polyamorous. I don't know why. Y'all know me. Like if you've been following me for a while, like you know me. It's not like it's something that I hide. Right? So I think what had happened is they just didn't hear it. They didn't want to hear it. Right? So my brother knew, my father knows, right? And so I know that they know. And so in this text thread, I was saying how, I was seeing someone and he was talking to his other partners about it. And they were like, and they're both staunchly Christian. My mother's gone back to church. My sister, we weren't raised Christian, but she got baptized and became evangelical Christian. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm polyamorous. Shock. And I'm texting my brother. I was like, that didn't everybody know? Like, I was unafraid. I can't imagine, and I can, what it would be like to be in a family where you can't even date somebody outside of your culture or your tribe or your ethnicity or whatever, whatever the boundaries are. So I get it. I know it can be a hard choice to be who you are. To be who you are. Poly, mono, straight, gay, queer, anything in between, non-conforming to whatever, just call me they, it, and whatever have you. It can be frightening because you could lose the tribe that you know. So I'm not, I totally understand why in some cases people don't want to tell everyone what's happening. But with the person that you're seeing, they need to know who you are. Do you really want to be monogamous? Can you go on that first date and say, I think I want to be monogamous, but I've had these thoughts of polyamory and I've been looking into it. I think I want to be monogamous, but I've become really attracted to BDSM and kink, and it seems really interesting to me. Can you have those conversations with someone within dates 1 through 3? And if they look at you like, well, then you can say, I guess that's not the person for me to explore with. Because the other alternative is to go into it going, I hope that maybe they want to try these things too, but I'm not going to talk about it because it might scare them off. So let's just wait until a better time. Once I reel them in and they really like me, then they would maybe want to do these things with me. So I'm just going to wait. Okay, we've been together 3 months. Now I'm going to wait a little bit longer, 6 months. Now I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Okay, I know it's been 2 years, but eventually I'm going to bring it up. Okay, it's 3 years in. Hey, babe. I've been kind of interested in like the swing lifestyle. Swing, what's that? Well, you go to these events and, there's an opportunity to, just meet other couples and, maybe do some things with them. Like, hold on. You want to have sex with other men? Well, no, I mean, I don't have to have sex with them. So why are you even asking, why are you even bringing this? Well, so it's not really about just the sex with the other men. What is this about? Wait, hold on. Where's this coming from? Have you been cheating? See, that's not going to go very well. That's not going to go very well. Or you could have up front in the beginning said, this is what I'm interested in. And he would have said, that's not from being said. It's very nice meeting you. And you better keep going. And you met somebody who you say, I'm interested in these things. And they go, you know what? I was kind of thinking about it too. You have a better chance of meeting that person when you communicate. All right, that's it. Takeaways for today are learn how to communicate. Literally, there are actual courses on it. Most of us don't know how. We really don't. I'm telling you, you think you're talking, but talking and communicating are two very distinctly different things. You think the other person understands you. Hell, some of y'all might not understand what I'm saying half the time. I'm still working on it myself. But it is a skill. And unless you've come from a family where it was really cultivated, you're talking, but you're not communicating. And how you know if you're able to communicate well is if you're constantly in a fight with somebody, or you're constantly talking to someone and you feel like they don't understand you, you're not communicating well. Because as the person speaking, it's actually your responsibility to deliver your message in a way that the other person can hear you. And if you're constantly listening to people and you don't understand what the fuck they're saying, you're probably not being a good active listener. And you're not asking questions about what it is that they said. Like, communication is a huge thing. Real quick, before I go, I'm gonna just say this. I give an example. When communicating, you want to use I statements. So I feel that whenever we are out in public, my needs are not being attended to. Just making stuff up. Other person says, what I'm hearing is, you want me to pay a whole lot of attention to you when we're out in public? No, I don't need a whole lot of attention. But what I would like is for you to introduce me to people more that I don't know. I would love it if you would hold my hand. I wouldn't mind if we kissed a little bit more out in public. The person. Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is you'd like more introductions, more physical touch, kissing, holding hands in public. Yes, I would like that. Okay, I can do that. Now, some of you are gonna be like, I gotta do all that. Yes, the fuck you do. Otherwise, it looks like, how come when we're out in public, you don't like pay attention to me? What are you talking about? We were just talking while we were out in public. I mean, yeah, we were talking, but like, then we ran into your friends and you didn't even tell them who I was. Well, they already know who you are. Well, I don't know who they are. How come you didn't just tell me who they are? What is this about? I don't understand. And then you didn't even kiss me. You don't want to hold my hand. Is there a reason why I feel like you're like, are you hiding me or something? Where are you coming from with this? I'm just saying, it just feels like you're like not paying any attention to me. The other way is long, is boring, is drawn out, is back and forth. But do you want the resolution, or do you want like the adrenaline of the argument? That's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, I've gone different places. Bottom line is, know who you are. I will come back on and talk about polyamory, but know who you are. Communicate. Be honest. you will find your tribe, you will find your people. The more honest you are with who you are, the faster you will find your tribe and your people. All right, I've got to hop off and get ready for a client. Enjoy your Saturday, y'all. I'll see you back here tomorrow.